they, they're really trying to ship Hakari and Karane. That's scissoring. Yeah, make out session at night. Karane and Hakari cannot stay away from each other. If they can't get the lovin' from Rintaro, they're gonna get the lovin' from each other. I like that aspect. Anyways, yes, the finale of 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. Fantastic episode. I won't say fantastic. There was a few parts in it that I think were a little bit of a lulling. It wasn't like an incredible episode compared to the rest, but it was still solid and a nice little kind of conclusion to it. But yes, obviously getting the announcement for another season. We weren't sure if we were going to actually get one. There was a lot of question marks as if we were going to get a consecutive core because it took so long for them to announce the actual episode count. But yeah, it looks like at least we know now that we're going to have another core, another season, and we just don't know exactly when it's going to be. I was kind of hoping they would announce it for spring. Still can happen. Spring announcements can happen all the way up until probably about a month before it actually comes out. So spring or fall, maybe. I don't know. Spring, summer, or fall. But yes, we did technically in this episode get alluding to a lot of characters that they can introduce in the next season, which is great. Which two of them I think particularly, well, three I think would probably particularly be like in my interest. I think they all look cute, but yeah, I was kind of putting a hesitation on calling the maid to be one of the girlfriends for the longest time. I mean, obviously her showing up when they first kind of confronted the mother, but they didn't really show much of her. In this episode, they showed a lot more of her, but I think there's two factors that I think kind of laid out that it's going to be, maid's going to be one. One, that yes, she looks very unique, but mainly in the idea that she has not opened her eyes yet. She's that character that walks everywhere with her eyes closed. I don't know how they do it, but maybe she's blind. I don't know. But additionally, the fact that they had her shown again right before they show the other four girls. And I think that kind of lines it up the idea that she's probably going to be one. But yeah, we have the maid, and then he goes running by a store where there is a girl in a hoodie, which I'm assuming she's going to be the gamer girl. Typically, the gamer girls are wearing hoodies, and they look like they don't really want to be out in the public kind of look. The very covered up kind of look to her. But yeah, I'm assuming she's going to be a gamer girl. Then we have, right after that, the tomboy. I'm going to guess the baseball player is going to be the tomboy. We have the baseball player just kind of swinging her bat out there. She's probably going to be a tomboy. And then when he gets inside there, we run into ringlets. Yes, we're gonna get a ringlets character. Now, granted, technically Hahari has ringlets, but not your typical ringlets like character, your ho 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 kind of character, which I'm assuming that girl's gonna be. She looks like she's possibly in love with herself, but got a little bit of a ringlets going on there, which I'm excited for. But additionally, yes, later on, he's going up the stairs and we see briefly a girl walking by, which I don't know, she could be the normal girl, the fusu, the girl that kind of just looks plain, and she thinks that she's very, very plain and not interesting. Additionally, with the longer hair that she has, could be more of a goth character, like a Japanese goth, not a Western goth with all black, but probably, maybe possibly going to be a Japanese kind of goth, but we'll see with that one. But yeah, all of them look cute. I'm looking forward to them whenever the series comes back. But yes, the episode proper. The episode proper. Very thirsty mansion. the super thirsty mansion is like it never stops. It's like the thirst just keeps going. I mean, most of the humor around the series has been kind of like, you know, cutesy and like a little bit of suggestive, but not as thirsty as that mansion. I'm again, like I said last episode, I'm pretty convinced that I'm on board with what Karane says. This is a mansion that has like a thirst curse within it, so everybody's after Rentaro. Yes. Unfortunately, we got the answers to what he went to the other room with Hahari for, and it was because she was just massively craving to put cute outfits on him. I actually got that spoiled for me because I was checking to see where we were at in the manga the other day, and I ended up bumping into the next page, which was literally right into that whole thing. But yeah, I don't remember it being that suggestive in the manga. It was super suggestive. I'm like, wow, that's a bit hot. I mean, even though it is not actually what's happening, the implications there is pretty massive. So that was super spicy. But yes, wearing the outfit, falling over, everybody's loving it. Mothers has to wake him up using Nano as a prince, which again was another thing that I kind of seen. But yeah, really cute little scene. But the thirst hits again, and that Rentaro goes to leave to go to the bath, and everybody's on board with the idea of peeping. even Kusuri's like, I've never seen one before, and I want to see his. But no, Shizuka is a good girl. Shizuka is a good girl. She's trying to stop everybody. It is technically poetic in the idea that the one person that was trying to stop everybody, the one person that was trying to bear that burden, bear that cross as they translate it, that one person is the only one that actually gets to see it. She's trying to stop him. They roll her up. Poor little Shizuka rolled up in a ball, and they all go rushing out there to try to see him, freak him out, and then they go into the attic. The rich cat, once again strikes again. I just can't get enough of Kanane saying that that's a rich person's cat. But yeah, Shizuka goes rolling down, slides right into the bathroom, and yeah, I kind of noticed at that point, and they showed it before with the window, but yeah, that was about the point where they started kind of being very obvious that there is some sort of presence in the house, which is this ghost, which seems like the ghost was trying to help him out, or at least maybe he was going in there to check on him, and Shizuka happens to come by right at that time for these automatic sliding doors they have for the bath, apparently. Rich person house. And she falls in there and wakes up, and just that little squeak that she gives off before she just passes out. Had to have the elephant sticker on there, but yeah, that was really good. Poor Shizuka. She prefers elephants now. It was bad. It was super bad. The thirst in that house is absolutely incredible. But yeah, following this is where we get our serious scene, in the idea that they're playing cards and Hahari excuses herself. Obviously something's bothering her. And I knew at the moment that she left, I was kind of thinking it was going to be in the case of her husband, like her boyfriend. I don't think they ever actually got married. But she went off to go see her boyfriend, and she has an altar set up for it, and Rentaro walks in there. And I do like this little segment because it is kind of like with everything else in the series, it's trying to make a very serious statement amongst the shenanigans. This isn't simply just a comedy series. It is also a slice of life. There is slice of life drama elements kind of embedded within the series, and with this particular episode, they're hitting heavy on the idea of, can you love again? Can you really say that you ever love somebody when they part ways with you and you find other love? With hers, the unfortunate aspect that's a reality for a lot of people, the idea of losing that special somebody. I loved them so much. And yes, it's kind of adding to their initial meeting and the idea that this was somebody that I love very much. There it was for comedy. Yeah, it's funny that she was like, I will never love again, and then suddenly, Rentaro-chan, I want you so bad. But deep inside, yes, this is still something that she is still a real character. She's still a real person that is facing the hardships of, I loved him so much, and I still told myself I'd never love again, but now I'm loving you, and I feel bad. I should never be allowed to love another person. And yeah, again, knowing personally people that have lost loved ones, not specifically like relatives, but people that they were their wives or their husbands. And yes, there's that question mark of, can they ever meet somebody again? Can they ever remarry? Can they ever find another person? It's hard. It is a very difficult subject to get into. And again, they're getting into it in a respectful way, similar to like the last episode with Hyakkano wanting to jump from the window. They're getting into it a difficult subject in a respectful way. You still love them, so that obviously shows that it is real. And he didn't see, I mean, technically to the perspective of a harem protagonist, jokes aside, yes, technically he's pointing out that, yeah, technically I'm doing the same thing. As long as you love them, as long as you show that that love is real, and if you ever feel that I'm not showing that to you, tell me, and I'll tell you. As long as you're showing that love to that person, it doesn't matter. It doesn't erase this, but it doesn't make this not real either. That you can have both of them, and you can move on with your life. Again, in the context of a harem, it's kind of rough. But to the context of Hahari's story, it makes perfect sense in the idea of, no, girl, you're allowed to love again. You're able to move on. And it doesn't mean this goes away. Just because you love again, just because you're able to be comforted again in this world, does not mean that that love for that person has disappeared. It's like I said, it's a really solid message within a harem about a guy with now 6 girlfriends. And one of them is the mother of one of the girlfriends. Can you keep a straight face and talk about this really serious subject? They do it. That's the fascinating thing about this series, is always that aspect. But yes, the following scene in the bed, Everybody's laid out. Hakari decides to make a move. Karane's like, I knew she would do it. That succubus, she's gonna make her move. Okay, I'll allow it. But yes, Hakari sneaking in there and having a little brief moment of them, together, which was really sweet. Karane's like, yeah, I'll let it happen because obviously Hakari just went through a pretty traumatic experience thinking that she was going to lose something. But additionally, yes, him waking up to Hakari and Karane just going at it. It's like ever since that whole kissing zombie episode, the two, well, I kind of argue a little bit before then, but the two of them they love each other. They're just all over each other. Like I said, if Rentaro can't give them what they want, they'll find it with each other, complete with scissoring. I'm all for it. I ship it. But yeah, it's another kind of serious scene following this is the idea that Rentaro runs into the ghost of the father/boyfriend. And yeah, it was a cute little scene. I like it because it was kind of him getting the okay from the past boyfriend and additionally, technically the father. It's him meeting the parents. And yes, him getting that okay from the father. I do like the fact that he's like, I was actually going to come out here and do this whole, I'm going to curse you if you don't make him happy kind of thing. He does acknowledge that, yeah, you've lifted this weight off of my girlfriend's shoulders. It looks like you're taking good care of Hakari. He's basically in this period of time, because he's been protecting them in this household, he's seen him essentially save Hakari's life. He's seen him essentially relieve all this tension off Hakari's shoulders. And yeah, so he's like, yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to curse you, but you got it. Like, I don't think I have to do that. He was actually, afraid that he was afraid of him as a ghost. But no, he's like, because you're my dad. Stop calling me dad. Because you're my dad. I'm not gonna do that. But no, I like the fact that they were almost gonna set it up as like the father is always present and always taking care of them. But I think that would be like extremely awkward in the idea of like cut scenes and, Hakari is all over Rentaro, and then he looks over and he sees the ghost of her past boyfriend just standing there. Like, how uncomfortable would that be? I mean, I don't think Rentaro would be bothered by it, but I think he'd be bothered by the fact that he would feel bad for the boyfriend. Like, I'm here, he's dead, he's a ghost standing there, and he's watching me just get all chummy with his girlfriend. But it was sweet. I mean, they talked about it in the previous part, but that whole aspect of like, the final kiss that he wanted to give her and all that kind of stuff, those regrets that he has, wanting to protect them, wanting to be at their side, all the promises that he made when he was alive, unable to fulfill them. And yeah, now that Rentaro is like super good person, like, yes, let's watch them together. We'll protect them together. And he's like, there's a regret and everything just gets swashed away by his pure nature. And he gets sent to the afterlife. It was good. It would have been kind of funny to have Kami-sama like show up at some point, or maybe like later on have Kami-sama talk about him, or maybe next time you visit him, the father will be there. We'll see. I think it would make a nice little fun addition to the whole situation. But yeah, that wraps up things. They go back to school, and as everybody was, I mean, is anybody not expecting this? The mother found some way of weaseling herself into the school, and what better way than a extremely rich person than to just buy the entire school so that she could be there at all times, be the chairperson of the school. That was, like I said, very expected. Like I was saying before, like when they first were introducing the idea of having Hakari part of the relationship, my assumption there was that she was going to constantly be asking for, his input to make another child. And I thought it was just going to be this rich lady just running through the halls, chasing after him. And because she's rich, they'll allow it. But no, she just buys a whole place so that she could always be there. And it kind of wraps up nicely. And like I said, and that's one way to get into showing off the other characters for... I would assume going to be the whole next core, because we technically introduced 6 characters in this core, and that's 5 characters, and we can have like an extra one, which kind of fits in with how they did the first season. This first season, we've seen right off the bat 5 characters, and then we got a 6th. And then they could do that with the next season. We've seen 5 characters, and they could have a 6th. So we'll see how it kind of plays out, if it kind of keeps the same pacing. I think in the end of the day, like, for sure, really enjoy this series. I'll eventually do a review, probably just on the podcast, but really enjoy this series, and I think it's because it's a very refreshing harem. Now, I will say that one thing that I would probably say that I'm most surprised about is that they never got into the initial shtick of the entire series, which is this idea of, if you don't, something will befall them. And we've yet to actually have that happen, and I'm kind of surprised about that. We had technically like two situations where it really felt like they could have gone that direction. I think Nano and Hahari are two really good examples where they could have done that. And even with Kusuri, like I said before, Kusuri, him not knowing who he got the zappy zappies from. And Nano, the case of somebody that says it's illogical, it doesn't work out, it's a waste of time. And Hahari, and the idea of, that's my daughter, and if I can't get with you when you have my daughter. They had a couple of really good chances of doing something like that, so I don't know, maybe we'll see in the future, maybe they'll actually get into that. Not that I want it to get heavy and dark, but it could actually do something interesting in the idea of him panicking and fearing that he is not going to be able to do that. Now, yes, technically, it sort of happened with Hyakkano, but it was never brought up. Hyakkano was technically separated from him, but he never brought it up. He never said, I have to get with her, I need to go get her, otherwise something tragic will befall her. And you could maybe argue that the idea of Hyakkano jumping from the window was a sign of that. That she was driven to that, and that she could have fell from there. Maybe that was those forces in play, because they were separated and fearful that they would never come back together. But again, it never pointed out, so I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's probably something they're going to bring up in the future. So anyways, a lot of fun, a lot of cute Shizuka moments as usual. It always feels like Shizuka is like thrown off to the side and she just does her own thing and looks super cute, like the whole pull thing and stuff. Karane always steals the show. It really does feel like her tsundere nature is playing mostly in the straight man. I think that's why Karane has such a strong appearance in the series, is she's usually playing as the straight man. You have all the characters, they're doing goofy stuff. Hakare's over here being thirsty. You have Nano's over here being dorky and calculative. You have Kusuri just being a dork and wanting to experiment. You have Shizuka's over here and she's being kind of cute and doty. And then you have Karane right here and she's reacting to everybody else in a tsundere way. So I think that's, I never realized it, but I think that's why Karane has such a strong kind of presence with any episode of the series, is because that's what the writer is using her as, is the reaction to everybody else. So, which is always funny because her reaction is her own true nature. So it's not as if she doesn't have her own self. It's just that she's tsundere. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the finale of 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. Thank you guys so much for everybody that drops by weekly for these videos, even though most of the time it gets limited on ads. And I have to tell YouTube, dude, chill. I'm being very clean with my words. I could get much more raunchy when I'm talking about this show, but I'm not. Thumbnails I usually get pretty risky, but hope you guys enjoyed it, and will join me in for the next season. We have a few interesting shows that are kind of in the same flavor of this. One is like the Angel one, and we also have Gushing Over Magical Girls, which that'll be interesting as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment. Let me know what's your favorite girl of the series. And now that we're done with the season, who is best girl? I think it's still Karane for me. Shizuka's like right there with her. Karane and Shizuka like right there. Those are still my favorites, but yeah, let me know. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button to get my content. I news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.